3, 2, 1, action.
Hey everyone!
Hello.
How are y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Shades of Grey Show. I am half of your co-host, Jasmine Carr with eXp Realty.
And I'm Monique Hogard with eXp Realty, and we are the Shades of Grey podcast.
Yes, because everything in real estate is not always black and white.
There are always shades of gray.
There it is. So we are continuing with our investor special. And this episode, we're actually going to be giving you some tips and tricks about how to choose the right property. Now, as you guys always know, we always say that purchasing real estate is subjective. It all really depends on what your investment goal is, what your numbers look like. So there are some key things, though, that you definitely want to keep in mind when it comes to choosing the right property for you and your investment strategy. The first thing that you want to keep in mind is going to be location. We always say it's location, location, location. There's a reason why we specify that. In regards to investing, you're going to be looking at a few different factors as opposed to when you're purchasing a home to live as your primary resident. When you're looking for investment properties, you want to look at locations that have increased market growth. So if you know of a large company that may be moving into a specific area, those would be an indicator of good investment properties, because that means that people are going to be wanting to move close to this business in order to work, play, whatever it is, depending on whatever business that is actually growing. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is places that may have high vacancy rates or property depreciation. Obviously, those will not be ideal locations for you to want to purchase a investment property in, because you're keeping in mind that eventually you're going to sell this and you want to sell for a profit. You want to what is called buy right, which means that you are purchasing a property that when resold will sell for below or at market value and still return a profit to you. So the next thing that you want to take into consideration is going to be the property itself. Obviously, there are various different styles of properties. You have your single family home, like the one that we are filming in today. You have your multi-unit properties, which would be like apartment complexes, or you have your duplexes, which would be 2 units on a property. This is important because the type of property that you're purchasing can actually affect the type of financing that you would be able to qualify for in order to turn a profit on this investment property. Again, we'll talk about financing strategies and ways to finance in a later episode, but you want to keep that in mind for the time being. The next thing that you're going to want to take into account is market trends. Market trends are going to let you know what a home is selling for that is comparable to the home that you're in. You also want to keep track of these things if you are trying to rent the property out. You want to know what your rental rates are going to look like, because at the end of the day, having a clear understanding of what your numbers are going to help you make an informed decision and make the right decision for you in terms of choosing the right property.
So some of the questions that we get, I'm just going to cover 4. One of them is what is the 70% rule in house flipping? So all wholesalers pretty much follow this rule, and that's basically that you should pay no more than 70% of the property's after repair value minus the cost for renovations. The ARV of the property of the home is the amount that could sell after the flipper has sold it. So when I think of an ARV, just think of, we have to run the comps. You know, what is the market value that's going as far as the area is concerned? That's how I compare what an ARV in terms of real estate, because wholesaling and real estate are 2 different worlds. So that's the best way I can explain that. Why do flips need 2 appraisals? Well, one, the lender has to get a second appraisal to support the increase in the property's value. In addition, they can submit documentation of the renovations to basically, so that way they can determine that cost. The third thing, or the third question is, what is the 90-day flip rule? The 90-day flip rule is if you're going to purchase a flip home with an FHA plan, you must live in that house for 90 days before you can sell that property. or before anybody can purchase that property. So I had an investor that was trying to go that route where he had purchased the property in his individual name and wanted to change it over to his LLC, which normally you can. If you normally, I feel like it's best to do that up front instead of trying to do that at in the middle of the transaction.
Yeah.
But he was not able to do that because he did not individually own it for 90 days. Now, depending on with the situation that I mentioned earlier, where sometimes these properties aren't flipped as quickly as we'd like because you have to still consider, is it going to pass inspection? Is there anything going on underneath that we don't know or see? Well, in this particular instance, he was not able to sell the property right away. It actually, I think we sold it almost a year later.
Wow.
So just keep that in mind. Sometimes those things happen, but in that instance, he would be able to change it over to his LLC because he has owned it more than 90 days. And then the last thing is, how do you avoid capital gains on a flip? I'm not sure if you all have heard of a 1031 exchange, but the IRS lets you swap or exchange one investment property for another, which also helps to avoid capital gains tax. So that's why, as I mentioned in the previous episode, where how do you benefit with investment properties, this is one of the ways. You are basically going to sell that property and reinvest that money into something else. And that is, again, known as a 1031 exchange. So that allows you to keep buying larger rental properties. Okay, so you build your money, you take out the equity, and then you reinvest. So those are my top 4.
Yes.
And that is, flipping 101.
Right. And keep in mind also that while, yes, you could DIY this, you can do your own market research, you can do all of those things. At the end of the day, part of the benefit of working with realtors like myself and Monique is that we do this every single day. We keep abreast of what the market trends are. We are very zoned in to the specific market locations that we do business in, which really is Houston and its surrounding areas. So we can also help you get to the bottom of what is going to be the best location, what is going to be the best market price that you're going to want to enter in order to get that return on your investment.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's like we always say, you have to know your numbers, you have to know your end game and your end goal. And when you have that in mind, it makes anything, purchasing or investing in real estate, more of a tangible goal for you to accomplish. And we are always happy to help you accomplish that in any way that we possibly can.
Absolutely. I don't know how I picked up on investors, but that seems to be my niche.
Yes.
I love it. It's a challenge. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other thing about working with a realtor that I find is beneficial for wholesalers and investors is we have access to buyers. An investor is going to want a buyer once it comes time to flip that property. And then also we work with wholesalers. We have a whole network of wholesalers that we work with. So if you're looking to sell a property, we have somebody that we can wholesale it, or I can wholesale it for you. So it's just whatever it is that you're trying to do, just know that you have a realtor that can help you in that realm. So it's not always just about, I got to sell a residential property, or I just want to lease a commercial space. There are other avenues where we can help you, and we have the resources. So definitely reach out if you have questions. Like Jasmine said, we're always here to help. We first and foremost are a resource for you, and this is our job. This is what we do, and this is what we love. So that's it for me.
That's all I've got as well.
And we do want to send a shout out to Shea Homes here in Sienna Plantation. We're at one of their model homes. It's a beautiful home. So if you are looking to move to the Sienna Plantation area, please give us a call. I'm at 832-578-4021.
And you can reach me at 210-275-3183. And of course, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Jasmine, Jasmine, Sells Homes, SELLSHONES.
And I move with Monique number 2 and Monique on Facebook. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to
Yes.
our YouTube channel.
We love feedback. We love
Yes.
comments. We love
And
engagement.
we hope to open up our show at some point where we can actually have live questions and comments as we are filming.
Yes, so if that's a feature that you would be interested in, make sure that you get those likes up. Make sure that you subscribe. We're always wanting to give the people what they want. So, without further ado, that's going to be our show on choosing the right properties. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Can't wait to catch you on the next one.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.